do it.
All right. So the next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is, will Manny Pacquiao knock out Keith Thurman? The reason why I asked this question is because in a recent interview, Manny Pacquiao said this fight won't go 12 rounds, and if Keith Thurman exchanges with him, he will indeed knock him out. So I'm going to start this one off with G. Do you think Manny Pacquiao is going to knock out Keith Runtime Thurman?
No. I mean, I don't like to call Keith Thurman a runner, but his style is certainly around the rings prevents a short arm fighter like Pacquiao from getting off them punches, you know? And so you already know Thurman's gonna keep the distance. Pacquiao is gonna have to do a lot, you know what I mean, just to get in. He has short arms, so, and you know Keith, we watch him all the time. He's the master of moving, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, but
the master of moving. That's high praise. I don't consider him the master of moving. I consider him the master of running. The master of moving is someone like Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker. Even Canelo Alvarez is the master of moving. Well, you don't give him praise he doesn't deserve, right?
Well, I'll say this.
Even Lomachenko.
Lomachenko. Yeah, facts. Keith has a way of surviving to win at the end. You know what I mean? Now, in the earlier segment, you brought up a good point. They're not going to give him them rounds. So, Keith, I think probably, you know, in the beginning, he's probably going to go toe-to-toe, test out Pacquiao's power. But if Pacquiao touches him with a good one, he's going to be on his bike. You know what I mean? And then at that point, it's based upon the judges, you know. But I think Keith could still knock him out. But that's the old Keith. So the new Keith, I'm 50-50. But I don't think Pacquiao is going to knock out Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is going to dictate if the fight's going to be a knockout, it's going to be a decision.
Keith Thurman is going to dictate, okay.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Who's the last guy Pacquiao knocked out? Now, hold on. Now, who was the last guy Keith Thurman knocked out? now, this is what I'm saying. I don't think this fight is going to end in a knockout. What I believe is what's going to happen is Pacquiao. I'm going Pacquiao in this fight. I think Pacquiao will win this fight. I think that Thurman's going to feel Pacquiao's power, and he's going to try to go to 12 rounds. And I think that that's what's going to happen. It's going to go to 12 rounds, and it's going to be a decision for Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Unless Keith knows, like you was alluding to earlier, that this is a big opportunity for him. And once again, when you're the #1 guy, everybody, even if you lost before, you have 5 losses, when you're going against the guy that's the #1 guy, you're going to give it all you got. You're not going to cut no corners. It's going to be the best you out there. Now, we see before that Thurman can sometimes be a sharp counter puncher, and we've seen that Manny has only been beaten by good counter punches. So this is boxing. Anything can happen, but I don't see it happening, and I see Manny with the decision.
So we're going to keep. This is the first fight where we're going to keep track of records for Boxing Bros. So who do you have winning? Before I go, who do you have winning?
I got Thurman.
Thurman by. I mean, it doesn't matter if he doesn't win the way you say, but you're picking him to win. So
Thurman by knockout.
Okay. Strong and wrong. Strong and wrong. I respect it.
One more time, Thurman.
I respect one more time.
One more time, Thurman.
All right.
I wish that was the game. Now I'm going for Manny Pacquiao by decision.
All right. And so I'll just jump in. I believe that Manny Pacquiao is going to knock out Keith One-Time Thurman, and here is why. Keith Thurman has been hurt by Luis Collazo to the body, and then it looked like at the end of the round, PBC called Collazo and said the bag is in the bank account. And Luis Collazo just was like, you know what, I can't go on anymore. And then we saw him hurt by Jose Cito Lopez, who's a guy not known to be a puncher in his last fight. And you know, you're only as good as your last fight. In his last fight, Manny Pacquiao looked better than he did against Jeff Horn, against a better opponent, in my opinion, Adrian Broner. He frustrated Adrian Broner. He hurt Adrian Broner. And Adrian Broner, say what you want about Adrian Broner, but he has a solid chin. The guy has courage. He's a warrior in the ring. He will take the punches. He'll take the abuse. He won't quit in that ring. I can't say the same for Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman has shown me in a number of fights, from Luis Collazo, Jose Cito Lopez, Danny Garcia, he will run when he gets hurt. And he's gotten away with it to this point. Against Manny Pacquiao, for starters, Manny Pacquiao is a devastating finisher. His only hope is for Manny Pacquiao to do what he did against Juan Manuel Marquez. Hurt him and then jump in wild and get caught with a counter. His only hope is for Manny Pacquiao to do what Anthony Joshua did. Drop him, then get reckless, then get caught with a counter. Other than that, Keith one-time Thurman is out of time. And Manny Pacquiao is going to knock him the hell out. I'm going Manny Pacquiao.
Yo, let's just be real. Keith had like a 2, almost 3 year layoff, you know what I mean? Yeah. So his last performance, I'm pretty sure it's due to the ring rust. You know
Whoa, we're not going to do that to Josito Lopez. Hey, hold on. And shout outs to everybody out there, Oxnard, California. Shout outs to Robert Garcia and the Garcia family, because they was doing a wonderful job out there with Leo Santa Cruz and all those other fighters out there. Mikey.
But Thurman was out. He had
Well, here's my point. So that only buffers my point. Because if he was so rusty against Jose Cito Lopez, that was his last fight, and then you go from that to fighting Manny Pacquiao with no tune-up in between, and you're the same guy who thinks Joshua needs a tune-up for Andy Ruiz after he rocked Andy Ruiz and dropped him. He got caught by his own mistake. You sit here and think Joshua needs a tune-up, but you think that Thurman's okay after not having a tune-up. His confidence was shot against Jose Cito Lopez. Look at that interview at the end. He knows he didn't look good. He knows he didn't look like the best.
I hear what y'all saying.
Fights is fights. And like you said earlier, when people come with their best, Josito Lopez, he was training hard down there. He's a new fighter. That's a new fighter. That's not the, you know what I'm saying? Don't take nothing away from Josito Lopez's performance. He fought his heart out, and he was going in there trying to win. That looked like a whole different Josito Lopez, the way he was throwing his jab and everything. So let's stop saying that, taking that away from Josito Lopez.
No, that's not what I was doing. What I'm saying is, like, the layoff was so long.
Definitely, I agree with you for the layoff.
Now I feel like there's less ring rust on him, and I think he's taking this fight extremely serious.
I think he's taking this serious.
You've been seeing his interviews. He's in shape. Like this, he looks like he's back. You know what I mean? So I don't think I shouldn't say this. It's possible he's gonna be the same Keith that we've known before.
Stop it. I don't care what he's doing in the gym. I don't care what he's saying in the interview. Show me in the ring. Here's what I know. When he stepped up in class, he's ran. He's ran like a bandit. He's ran like he just robbed a bank. Like the dude is on a track team.
Listen, I think the last great performance I seen from Keith was the Sean Porter fight. I think that was the last great performance.
That was that was the only time I didn't see him get hurt badly in a big fight. But when he's been in the ring with punchers, and not even punchers, just guys who catch him clean and hurt him, he gets on his bike. But my man, this is a whole different beast. This is a 40-year-old man who's been in the biggest fight in boxing history, who's been on pay-per-view a number of times, versus Keith Thurman, who's being on pay-per-view for the first time in his career.
This might be too big for Keith.
Yeah, this is a guy. Manny Pacquiao wakes up in the Philippines and people are lined up outside his house to get money. He just goes and just hands out money, and then goes for a run. This is a guy who comes to America and is a huge star here. Pacquiao is ready. The stage is set, and Pacquiao's used to it. Pacquiao knows the game like he's reffing it. This is Keith Thurman's first time on a fight of this magnitude. What happens when you get hurt on that stage? And I think that played a role in Joshua too. When you get hurt in a different stage, in a different atmosphere, in front of a different crowd, it plays differently. That's why Wilder said, like, I couldn't land my right against Fury. It was a different stage, different audience. You are fighting for something bigger than you've ever fought for before. And I'm telling you right now, you get hurt by Manny Pacquiao on that stage, it's different. And I have no faith in Keith Thurman. Straight like that.
I was playing devil's advocate, yo. I'm still rooting for Keith.
I got no respect for a runner. Yo, as far as I'm concerned, runners should not get decisions. We should not incentivize running in the sport of boxing.
Please like and subscribe and check out our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Out of time, Thurman.
Track and field Thurman, baby.
He should fight in spikes.